Hi, everyone. Welcome again to the Stranded live stream here on the Strandberg Guitars Facebook page. As usual, an archive will end up on our YouTube channel. And if you've been following us, you know that we haven't repeated a show format yet. It's been different every time. So today is another experience in that vein. And we've done a ton of different formats to date. And there's an email address at the bottom of the screen, stranded@strandbergguitars.com. So take a look at the archive on the YouTube page. Let us know which one you preferred and which you want to see more of, and if you have other ideas. And we'll continue to evolve this show and have fun. And today we're doing an experiment. Like I said, it's we've invited a ton of our artists, and since we're all spread out all across the globe, we have a lot of time zone challenges, if you will. So it's going to be split into two. This is part one, and then tomorrow morning my time, like tonight, US West Coast time, etc., will be part two. So here's us for today. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm good.
Hello.
See the right page.
Oh,
Unmute my microphone. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
This is great stuff. So you viewers, feel free to keep questions coming throughout the show. I'll try to moderate and portion out the questions to our respective people over here. And other than that, my idea to get the show rolling was to have all of us like interact with each other and ask each other questions. I think a fair number of you have met in person. I think basically all of you. Maybe Ryszard, you haven't met a lot of these people in person.
No, there's a few that I've met.
Yeah, but I think the majority of us have met at NAMM in some capacity through the years, and it's cool. The wonders of technology that we can all be here virtually.
Hey, Rich.
Hey.
He said that.
Good stuff. Well, let's get things started. So, Gustavo, ask Liam something intelligent, and we'll talk about that for a few minutes.
Hey, man.
Hey, dude. How's it going?
Great. So I'm curious to know how are you adapting your time to this new reality? I don't know how the situation is there, but I know that for us, it's not that hard to be locked in a room. But what other aspects of your music you have to readapt?
Yeah, sure. So I'm missing playing live. I've had 2, possibly 3 tours cancelled at the point at which we're at now, and it's not good. It's not fun. I guess I'm just trying to stay busy, keep inside and trying to write music and hook up more opportunities that maybe down the line won't be, one of my tours has already been rescheduled for next year, so like that's good. But yeah, I think a lot of us are in the same position with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, yeah, I don't know what everybody else's thoughts are on this kind of thing, but if anyone else has something to say.
Yeah, I could just like back you up there. It's the same situation for me, really. We were on tour with Devin Townsend, and then we woke up one day to a message saying that the tour's over. You got to cancel everything. So we needed to work out a way to get all of our gear to various warehouses in America. We had to get all of our merchandise somewhere to sell it. We just ordered a whole bunch of new merch, and then we had to arrange flights to come home the following day. And yeah, we've just been stuck indoors ever since for the last six weeks or so. And yeah, just making music. But I got a young son at home. He's like 4 years old, so I'm homeschooling him, being his friend and his dad at the same time, and trying to fit in the music in between.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it must be like to like go from, I mean, my position was bad enough where the tour hasn't happened yet. We haven't set anything in motion. We hadn't actually paid for any of it yet. But the but yeah, like I can't imagine what it must be like to be on tour, having done the investment part of it, done all of the pre-work and all that stuff, and be in the middle of shows, kind of.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah. We were completely oblivious to it. Obviously, we knew that there was a pandemic like on the brink of happening, but we didn't know to what extent it was at that point. And then we saw an announcement from Donald Trump saying that all flights into America are being cancelled. And we're like, whoa, we're in America. Hang on, this isn't good. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of just messed everything up. Like we made a financial loss.
Did you guys get home okay?
Say it again.
Did you guys get home okay?
Yeah, we got home, but it cost a lot of money because we had to book a flight for the following day. And we were the support band, so financially we were already like working towards just breaking even because it's tricky when you're a support band. So yeah, it wasn't the best situation, but it's good to be alive, I guess. So it could be worse.
Is there any one of you that had like planned the downtime anyway to record an album or something? So this kind of didn't impact too much?
I did. I actually was in the middle of. I actually just finished recording and released a record, and my life is pretty much the same since the pandemic. I live in a very, very rural area. There's only about 250 people in the village that I live in. So when they said stay at home, it really wasn't that much of a difference. So my life didn't change much at all. Yeah. I just shop less.
Yeah.
I think
plus, I mean, Sweden is kind of different from the rest of the world. I guess we're notorious of having few restrictions. Although I certainly try to exercise social distancing, which generally isn't that big of a deal. I work and I ride my bike, so I'm good.
I follow you all with your amazing pictures. Every time you go for a ride, when it's so nice, you take pictures and great.
Yeah, it keeps me sane at least. So it's nice.
Yeah, it's been.
How about you, Per? You have a young son. Do you get to spend all the time you want now, or are you getting tired of child time?
Well, when this pandemic happened, my life just continued as normal in a way, because I've already, especially since the kid came, I'm spending a lot of time at home anyways. I've got a studio set up in our apartment, so I've been working there ever since he came. So it's all the same. The only thing that's changed is that we order groceries to our home instead of going out for them.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's not much of a difference. But I mean, all of my tours are canceled.
Yeah.
So it's some loss of
income. Yeah, you did have a lot coming up, I think.
Yeah, I had a bit.
Yeah.
But that's fine, because I've been touring quite a lot these past few years, in the summertime at least. So it's actually kind of nice to have an entire summer, off and spend time with my family. And so far everyone's well and alive, and so if we can just stick to that, I'll be golden.
Yeah. And Ryszard, you just joined a new band, right? And then did you have time to do anything before the pandemic hit?
Yeah, I joined Unveil the Strength at the beginning of September or something like that. Luckily, I managed to squeeze in a trip to film a couple of videos and do a photo shoot at the beginning of December. We were working on sort of releasing sort of stuff early 2020, but then all this whole pandemic came out, and we've sort of tried to delay things or at least stagnate them because well, we don't really know how long this is going to last. Again, we've had some show. Well, we applied for some festivals that were sort of penciled in, but now, especially in the UK, they've cancelled a lot of them. The only one that I know that's still going is Bloodstock, I think. But other than that, like everything's shut their doors. Everything's sort of cancelled. I know they're trying to...
going ahead.
What's that?
You think Bloodstock is still going ahead? I'm not sure.
From what I've seen, like they're still going ahead with it. It might have changed. I haven't had a look in a couple of weeks, but
Quite wishful thinking.
Well, they were pretty adamant on like, yeah, you know, it's at the end of August. Let's try and like, hopefully, like things will work out. But yeah, it's been like in my area in North London, it's been quite quiet. But I mean, I kind of live in a little quietish area anyway. It's only when you start really going in to London that, you know, you kind of realize, yeah, everything's sort of shut its doors, especially being one of the busiest cities in the world. It's so strange to see it quiet.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
John is saying Bloodstock is cancelled.
Oh, it is cancelled.
Yeah. Well, John Elphinstone says so. I have no way to quantify that. We have a few more people here also confirming that it's been cancelled. Just going to stick in with one more thing for more recent people who've joined. No Pliny, ? There will be a second live stream tomorrow morning, European time, and Pliny is joining that. So we're covering a lot of time zones. So what about the rest of you? Adam, what are you up to?
Luckily Arch Echo, we hadn't, because, we just had gotten off a tour like mid-February, so we just kind of missed this whole situation. I can't imagine what it was like being on a tour when all this was going down. That just sounds like a nightmare. Yeah. But we were actually planning on having a little downtime and writing probably an EP or an album for Arch Echo, and Joey and I had a good writing session, and otherwise it's just been great to just be home and really just spend time outside, spend time with my family. But there are a couple of tours we were going to do down the line that have been pushed, but it's not the end of the world. Everybody's safe, everybody's healthy. It's the most important thing. Yeah, that's
good to hear. How about you, Adieu? You're in Malaysia, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
what's the situation there in terms of like all restrictions?
I mean, you mean like with the lockdown and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty strict. They had like police and like the army and stuff come in and like make sure like no one's going outside, and it's been like 40 or 40 plus days and stuff like that. So just being at home.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been pretty tough, but they're slowly like letting people go outside now. So.
Hock, are you still in Boston?
Yep, I'm still here. So I think Gustavo is also in Boston, so I guess we are in a similar situation here.
Yes.
Thankfully, though, I do have a lot of like online lessons right now, so that is great. Just sitting at home and just teaching and writing lots of music for Replicaire and for my own stuff. We're working on vocals with James from Black Crown Initiate, so that is going pretty well. So very excited for that.
Yeah. It's I can't believe like knowing all of you and see what you all guys come up with. It's really amazing. And whatever hits the webs, it's crazy. How about you, Dave? Are you still in Fort Wayne?
Yeah. Also, can people hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. It's fairly remote out here. At Ola, as you saw last time, it's kind of farm country. I live kind of in the middle of nowhere, which is kind of nice. And I work in the MI industry. We're all working from home as of the last month, and it's been insanely busy, which is kind of a positive note to see so many people embracing music and getting into recording. It has been I've actually been working probably the most I've ever worked in the last month or so.
Yeah, that's been crazy.
Oh, it's amazing. I actually had a tour booked for last month. I was supposed to go over to China and do 5 dates, and we started to see that wasn't going to be a possibility. So I'm kind of bummed out, but thankfully I'm safe here. So it's been positive.
Yeah, I've clocked in 21 guest solos so far.
Oh, it's Hock who disappeared. I was just going to ask him how he was doing. All right. I'm going to take this opportunity, by the way, to say that with Hock, who just dropped off, and Jose Macario, and some other Spanish-speaking people, we're going to try and put something together for like our Spanish-speaking viewers. Only limitation being that I don't speak Spanish, but we'll figure things out. All right. Well, Liam, how about you ask Adieu something?
Well, I was gonna throw a ball at you, being a Malaysian guitar player from Kuala Lumpur, right?
Yeah.
What's the scene? What's the scene like? That's what I want to know.
Well, I'm actually not the only Malaysian guitarist in this chat. Like Hock is also from.
Oh,
KL,
yeah. Hock's living in Boston.
Yeah, but I grew up in Malaysia. I grew up there until I lived there until I was like 21, and then I came.
Okay, wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, it's actually pretty like any of the stuff that you see like online, it's actually pretty recent. Like I think instrumental guitar and stuff like that we all kind of play. It's really kind of rare over here. It's only been like the last couple of years that it's been picking up, and because of like Instagram and stuff, and people are really starting to take notice and stuff like that. Yeah, man. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's interesting. No, it's just you don't obviously you don't see this type of music coming out of places like that very often. So especially not over here, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like when I was growing up, it was like, if you said you want to play guitar here, it's like everyone's like, that's probably like the craziest thing you could ever say. I think Hock would probably understand. That's probably why he lives in the US or something. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's
but
still coming up.
Is there a strong scene of some traditional music with other traditional instruments?
There's traditional. Yeah, there is traditional music, but I think it's like it's either you're doing that, or there's not much crossover into more modern stuff. So
it sounds like a viral video waiting to happen.
What's that?
It sounds like a viral video waiting to happen. There's that Indian band with the sitars. They're playing metal music.
Right.
Super viral. Let's do that.
That's what it is.
Very cool. How about no? The rest of you lived in like normal countries. I was gonna say, so we don't have to spin this conversation topic any further.
Yeah, pretty much. The rest of us are pretty well known countries musically to this audience and stuff. So it's
So I do ask Ryszard, a great question.
Oh, okay. Well, we've never really spoken. I don't think online either, but I'm gonna ask like a really cliche question, but like, what is your creative process like? Like, when you're writing and stuff.
Cliche. Yeah. I mean, I just try and surround myself by bands that I listen to. I mean, I really like the Scandinavian metal. That's where my heart is. But I then try and put my spin on it. I mean, everyone does this. So, I mean, like, I'm not saying anything new, but I can at least say it from my perspective. It's always been like the melodic bands, like In Flames and Soilwork. Like those are the bands I sort of really love listening to. And then you know how it is. You kind of hear a melody and you kind of think, "Hey, I like that. I'm going to take it, make it my own," and then add some chords behind it, add some drums and some bass, and then bam, like someone's, you've made a different song. I mean, that's how it's been going on since day one, really, hasn't it? Yeah, that. In terms of like improv as well, I mean, taking melody lines that I like and seeing if it fits over with what it is. Sometimes it's playing. I mean, I always try and play for the song, to kind of always steer and dictate that mood of the song. But that's just my perspective. Yeah, I mean, others might do something else, but I try and just keep it within the benefit of the song. So yeah.
All right.
What about the rest of you? Do you think that you have something like unique going on? Ryszard is saying, "Oh, I'm just doing what everyone's doing." Does any of you think that you have something that's different from the norm?
I don't know. It's a tricky one. I think it kind of changes from song to song. Sometimes you just have an idea that just flows quite naturally. Other times you could be working on something for like years. You can never quite get there. You keep coming back to it with each album you write, and you just can't quite finish that idea. But I think for me personally, it's nothing too dissimilar to Ryszard there. It's just finding that key idea that you feel has got enough potential to grow into something bigger. And then once you've got that idea, you can use that as like a thread almost that ties everything else together within the song. But I think finding that key idea to start off with is it's a hard part, I guess. And you just got to kind of jam around on your guitar or whatever you're playing. And then you stumble upon that idea. Then you can take it further by tweaking it in whatever program you're using and sharing it with other guys and bouncing it off other people or doing whatever you want. But yeah, I guess it's different. Everyone's got their own way of working.
Kind of similar. The hardest thing for me that I had to learn how to do was learn to stop. Just, okay, that's the end of the song. It doesn't need to go any further. I don't need to do any more. This sounds good. This is happy. It's within the time frame, and just learn, teach myself to be able to, just let it go, let it be free,
Yeah, I totally agree. Like you can chisel away at an idea so much sometimes that you're left with nothing. But then all of the good stuff that you originally had is just not there anymore, and you've taken it all away. And sometimes you listen back to the early demos of an idea and it's like, oh God, that's like a lot better than the actual version that I put out. It's a bit annoying when that happens, but it does happen.
I was going through some old files. I was like, wow, that's way better than what I released.
It's not good.
Well, one thing for me as well is like realizing that I don't need to just overcomplicate an idea. Sometimes, I try to write I like to start with a chord melody of some sort sometimes so I can hear the chords and melody at the same time. And sometimes I just go too crazy with modulations and little frills and stuff. And then by the end, it just sounds not focused. And, simple can be better in a lot of ways. It's got to have a good melody that you can latch on to.
Yeah, being a harmony nerd is like you come up with something really simple and catchy and hooky, and then you want to best support that melody in the harmony the best way you can. And yeah, for sometimes it's good to, you know, if the melody's 4 notes, sometimes you can harmonize it with 8 chords, but do you need to? Yeah, like it might sound cool, but
just because we can doesn't mean we should, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Very true.
Does anyone have a structured process where you like sit down a certain time of day, or like make a date in your calendar? Here I'm gonna sit down and compose.
I don't have that, but I feel like the difficult thing about writing a song for me is to get that like initial thing going, that spark, that first idea, and it can be like this super small thing, can just be a drum groove or whatever, but just to get that, because when you start you don't have anything. It's just like it's a blank sheet of paper, and it's like you stare at it and no words are popping up. But once you have something, it's like, for me, it's something else kicks in. It's like when you have something, you have a chord progression or a melody bit or a riff, then you have all this experience from writing stuff and listening to music, and so you know that you have this riff, and then you have all these ways to go from that riff. Like, I'm gonna change the key, I'm gonna do halftime, or you have all these different moves that you use. But to get that initial thing going, that's like the time for me when I need to feel really inspired, probably late at night, you know, everything is no one is awake but me, and everything is quiet, and yeah, and once I have something going, it's more like going to work on it.
Yeah, you know? So the idea can come at any time out of thin air, but then you can like structure time to elaborate.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm like driving my car and something comes up and I have to like put up my telephone in the middle of traffic and be like, you know.
That's a good idea. You should remember that.
I'm sure we've all been in this position where it's been 4 a.m. and we've woken up and been like, I need to go. I need to run to whatever first instrument I can see and just see if this is gonna work. Yeah, getting inspiration like that is kind of weird, how it crops up, and then when you start looking for it, it doesn't happen. You sit there and you, like you said, you stare at the blank sheet and nothing happens. But then all of a sudden, a week later, you're writing a whole song in a day, and it's just the nature of creativity, I guess.
Yeah, I have to say, I can't schedule inspiration, but what I can say is that, like, all I need usually is some downtime or some time to like reframe my brain, and that's usually like a few slower days at the office, that kind of thing. And then I'll just find myself in a space where I can be super creative and I can churn out tons of things in a very short period of time. So I imagine, I've never tried it, but I imagine I could actually like schedule some quiet time to arrive at that state of mind and then be creative. But I'm not sure.
One of the things that I try to do when I'm in the process of writing something is to schedule like a time, or make sure, like Ola was saying, to set up a time like a practicing routine. I'm learning a new scale or a new mode. At the same time, I have to set this time to write something and not wait for inspiration. Inspiration came to me, like a full song came to me like only twice in my entire life. So it's really hard. And I remember like sitting down and writing like a full song, but those are so rare. Those moments are so rare. So for me, all I have to do is like to set some time. So instead of, okay, I'm not going to practice technique, I'm not going to do anything else, I'm going to write music. Some days you write one measure, Some other days you write 8 measures. But most importantly, to write it down, I have to fall in love with the idea, whatever size it is. And that's like work on inspiration for me. But I don't know about you guys, but writing a full song in one sitting happened like twice in my entire life.
Kind of the same here. I own my own studio, and I set out the time, 9 to 5 every day is when I'm in here. I'm in here working, whether it be, working on my own music, doing a guest solo, or working on mastering or mixing for other people's projects, but I'm still in here. And I try to pick up a guitar at least once or twice throughout that time, whether I'm working on somebody else's stuff, in case I come up with something. But I came to the conclusion that if I do this as a 9 to 5, this is my income, that something is bound to happen. And it usually does. And I schedule that time for that. And some people get upset at me, because I don't work on the weekends when most people do. It's just not my time. So like my 9 to 5, literally my 9 to 5 is music.
That's very nice. How many of you have that benefit of like doing that as your main gig and spend 9 to 5, whether it's actually those hours? But
currently, but who knows, the virus might end that. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, mainly through touring, to be honest. So that would be my main income with Haken, and then putting out solo stuff as well. And then I think someone mentioned it before, like lessons as well, and guest solos and stuff like that. But generally, through the band is a way of making money for me. Yeah.
And I know, Per, you also mix and master a lot of other bands' music, right?
Yeah. It's not my main gig, but I do it occasionally. Yeah.
So you can be on your 9 to 5 and work on other people's music as well.
Yeah. It's a form of prostitution, and I love it.
People want part of your brain, I guess.
Yeah, parts of my body.
Who else does that? Work for other bands as well, beyond guest solos type thing. No one?
Yeah, sometimes I guess started. Sorry, Liam. Go on. I guess I've been doing tap books for Deaf Heaven, and that's the one thing I've been working on now that is kind of fun. That is away from the guitar. Mm-hmm. So that has been pretty enjoyable actually. So, but besides that, not really.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I personally mainly just teach when I'm not, writing or practicing or recording and luckily we do have the ability to do Skype lessons and even talks like this. Can't imagine if this had happened, 30 years ago, would have been a little tougher.
Yeah. Has there been an upswing for you that teach? Do you have more like work now than before then?
Definitely. I do a lot of in-person as well. But, obviously you can't do that right now, but Skype lessons have been great. And it's just nice to break up the day by speaking to different people. Because I'm sure a lot of you guys, like, we just spend time sitting alone playing guitar, or maybe, on the phone with friends or family, but just meeting a different person and just getting different insights. It's a nice time. It's a good way to break up the day.
Yeah. Ryszard, you're on. Come up with a question to ask Adam.
All right, Adam. I did have it written down. 1 second. Oh, God. All right. Sorry, man. Okay, here we go. If you could create an ultimate superstar band, who would you have in it and why?
Oh, gosh. An ultimate superstar band. Okay, so let's add in some interesting instruments here. Not that ours aren't interesting, but, I would like some... I'll start there. Jean-Luc Ponty on violin, that would be really sick. I mean, let's see. Gotta have some keys. I would add my own keyboardist, Joey Izzo, because he's pretty insane. All right, drums. I mean, I like the members in my band. I don't know. No, not that. Obviously, we'll go with famous people, like maybe Lenny White on drums. I've always loved his music. Just Return to Forever. Just Return to Forever. Are you guys a fan of Return to Forever at all?
John Petitucci.
Yeah, great.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw them. They kind of got me into jazz fusion. I saw them with Al Di Meola, you know, the original group, and then I saw them with instead of Al, Frank Gambale and Jean-Luc Ponty. And I was like, I got to try this fusion stuff. And then it's kind of brought me to the whole prog thing. But yeah, superstar band. I don't know. It's tough. There's so many choices. It's like, what genre would I even want to go?
Make up your own.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's prog, right? We just kind of do our own thing.
You got violin, you got keys, you got drums.
You just throw as many genres per second
Exactly.
as you can.
I can
Maybe
play
some bagpipes
recorder.
as well.
I'll do recorder.
Kazoo.
You know? Yeah,
You get Rich Henshall on the melodica.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm available. I'm just saying.
That's what's up. Rich, by the way, I've been listening to your solo album a lot recently.
Oh man,
Like gaming or something.
All of us.
Man,
thank you
it's
so
awesome.
much. Well, I'm a
It's
huge
really
fan
cool.
of Arch Echo as well. So like, we should hook up one day, do a tour or something.
That
Just
would be
jam.
amazing. I would love to do that.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate that.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, you guys all have phenomenal work you've put out, so it's just really cool to see what you guys are coming up with.
Yeah, totally. So who does any of you think that you listen to some weird music that were unexpected music for your own pleasure?
I
to
actually listen to a lot of throat music.
Throat singing?
Throat music?
Yeah.
Like the Russian tundra type or
That's super
My
cool.
my wife loves it, and I kind of got her hooked on it. And whenever we're kind of like hanging out and playing cards, it's like one of the preferred things to listen to is throat music.
really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is kind of far out.
It's soothing.
It is.
Ah.
It is.
It's not a phrase you hear very often. My wife loved it. Like that's not normal. Cool.
Can you do it yourself?
No. I even looked into the process of trying it, especially when two people call the beck and call. My wife and I just thought, maybe it'd be fun if we tried it, but it's a complete body and mind process that we're not really attuned to. It's a culture and it's a lifestyle for these people, and that's partly what makes it so beautiful to us.
Okay, because I mean, I haven't heard any throat music in a long time, but I have a sort of recollection that it sounds like sea lions in heat.
Kind of, yeah.
I think we have someone knowledgeable on the subject here. Have you heard of Tanya Tagak from Canada?
I probably ran across it. It's one of those YouTube hits. I just sit there for hours and just go through YouTube.
I don't know if this is a serious question. The Who, as in HU, is that throat music? I don't know.
Yeah, that's viral.
Yeah.
That's they're like a big. They played Download last year.
Yeah, Chris is saying Percy should listen to the Who first.
Yeah, we were there Download last year when Intervals were playing, and we were on tour with them, and yeah, the Who were playing one of the small tents. It was surreal because it's not something you'd usually expect to see at a big mainstream rock fest,
Yeah, so check out Tanya's record Animism. All right, yeah, throat music. That's pretty far out. Who else?
I actually really like finding random K-pop artists, which I find it super enjoyable. I actually really like the production techniques that they kind of employ in K-pop. that and like film scores, like the music that you find for like Hayao Miyazaki films, and so a lot of stuff like that, things that either I can't understand or have no words. So that's maybe a unique thing.
Yeah, and anyone else?
Anyone that knows me,
either I can't understand or have no words. So that's maybe a unique thing.
I think anyone that knows me knows that I listen to a lot of like gospel.
Anyone else?
Anyone that knows me,
either I can't understand or have no words.
Oh, now I got a terrible echo from somewhere.
It's okay, I fixed it. It's okay.
Okay.
It's the arch echo.
Yeah.
There we go. Nice plug.
It's the Adam Rafowitz just haunting the stream.
Very spooky.
Nice one. All right, Adam, you're up. Ask Rich something.
All right, Rich, let's see.
Oh man, I didn't know this was part of the stream.
All right, hot seat.
Prepare myself.
Yeah, now you're gonna have to come up with something to ask Hock in a minute. So you'll have to keep that running in the back of your mind as you respond to Adam's.
Yeah. Let's see. What would you say that you can't not the least? No. Let's see. What was there a single most memorable live show experience, like from a playing standpoint, that you realize like, wow, I really need to keep doing this for the rest of my life, or that just?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that probably the most memorable show that I've ever played, funnily enough, was the first show I ever had a Strandberg with. And I'm not just saying that because we're on a Strandberg stream, but I got the first Strandberg guitar in 2014, and it was just before the prog cruise, the prog at sea cruise set up by Mike Portnoy, and there was a whole bunch of amazing bands on there. Like who was on there? Animals and Leaders, Periphery were there.
Wasn't Devin on that as well? Was that the Progressive Nation at Sea?
Yeah, that's the one. In 2014. I was trying to remember Deer Hunter. They were there. There's a whole bunch of really cool bands, and we were invited as well. So it was a massive deal for us. And about 2 days before we left for that flight, I got my guitar, and it was an 8-string guitar. I'd never played an 8-string before at that point. And I'd been playing 7-string for like 10 years previous to that. So I had this 8-string guitar, and I tried to play this show with an extra string, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I was hitting all of these open B strings and just completely messing up the whole set. But aside from that, it was such an amazing experience to be on a boat just playing a gig, like overlooking the ocean. So that was cool. Yeah, that'd be my most memorable show, I reckon.
That sounds incredible. Just like being on a cruise ship full of music. I mean, right now, I probably wouldn't want to be on a cruise ship full of anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. We actually had another cruise booked after the tour that we were on, Cruise to the Edge, which is the Yes cruise. And we were thinking it was going to go ahead until the tour got cancelled. And yeah, that'd be like the worst place to be right now. So it got cancelled. But it's a cool place to be. You're just walking around. All the other bands are just floating, so to speak, with you, floating around, and they're just everywhere. You just walk around, you'll just see some friends from another group, and it's a cool environment to be around. And yeah, if you ever get invited on one, go for it.
I would love to. I mean, Joey Izzo, the keyboardist in Arch Echo, his old band while he was at Berkeley, Zombie Frogs, was actually on that cruise.
Zombie Frogs,
yes.
Wow,
it was his
name.
Previous prog band, other than a different one we were in. But yeah, he told me a lot about it and said it was just incredible.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's very, very cool. And also the good thing is you stop off, you get to go on excursions. On the last one we did, I went and saw some like Mayan ruins, which was cool. So it's a great thing to do. And the good thing is you can get to bring your family out with you. So I get to bring my son and my wife along, and the whole thing's a cool thing to do. It's a good way to end a tour as well.
Yeah, it can be hard to find time on tour to like actually enjoy scenery. It can be a lot of just driving and sleeping and playing and driving and sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing becomes very
Gallagher.
monotonous. Just the same thing every day. You're just stuck in the bus in your bunk, play the show, go to bed, do the same thing every day. You don't really see anything. So yeah, it's good to break it up a bit.
Yeah, be stuck on a ship.
There's a sensationalized thing that people have with touring that haven't done it. The thing is like, oh, you just wake up in a new city every day and you gotta explore and do whatever you want. And it's like, no, there's sound check and there's a gig and there's you gotta eat, and all that takes up 90% of the day, and then you use 10% for sleeping, and then that's it.
Yeah, even scheduling lessons on tour just like stresses me out, because you never know if you're going to arrive a little late or what's going to happen with sound checks. Something always happens. So.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, man, I've tagged along on enough or met up with like you guys on enough tour dates to just, yeah, I don't know how you do it.
There's never a dull moment.
No, I guess
something crazy always happens.
Yeah,
that's a great thing.
I know Per has been on a few of these cruises. I was gonna ask also. I mean, because to me it's like my worst nightmare, with just being bombarded with loud noises and like crazy people with no escape. But I assume in reality one of these cruises is not at all like that, or people wouldn't go. But I have a vague memory of asking Per about these cruises, and he said it was actually not at all like that. Do you have any reflections, Per, on
I was out for a bit. Nature called, and I had to pick it up.
Yeah, we made fun of you while you were gone.
Okay, awesome. And while I was going about my business, I was thinking about like maybe if I was wearing like a headset or something, and you'd forget to press the mute button, and everyone could hear me like doing my thing and weird noises. That would have been awesome. I remember that for the next time. Actually, we talked about Bloodstock earlier, mentioning festivals and stuff. And a few years ago, I played there with Scar Symmetry, and I was so hungover that I had been drinking water all day. So even though I've been like going to the toilet several times, like 2 songs into the set, I'm like, holy crap, I have to go. And like, what do you do when you have a show? And we were headlining the small stage. And there's like, we're going to play another hour. And I'm like, I'm about to burst. So I did a few songs more, and then I just gave my guitar to our tour manager, and I said to Lars, our singer, like, you have to say something. I've got to pee. And I ran, and the porta potty was like so far from the stage, and I was running, and like people like in the crowd, they could see me behind the fence running. It was so awkward, and it took the longest time. When people are waiting for you, like you cannot go right away. So, and I could hear on stage people were like chanting for me to perform. So, and then I got the applause when I came back. So, yeah, I just wanted to change the subject a bit.
Well, the subject was memorable gigs originally, so I think you qualified.
That kind of works.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Who else has memorable like story?
Memorable gig for me. My most memorable gig was being on tour, and we were scheduled to play the Fillmore in San Francisco. The house that Janis built. Carlos Santana, the Grateful Dead, all these icons played there, and we're there playing death metal. And it was sold out. And to watch that entire floor erupt in a giant pit, I was like, an icon of a building. I was like, it can't get any better for me. That was a cool one.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely. I imagine there are tons of like bucket list venues to play. I hung around basically all day with Devin when he did the Siltoid show at Royal Albert Hall, which was
I
I know
was
that
there
was
as
definitely a
well.
bucket list moment for him to perform on that stage.
Yeah, I was in the crowd for that show, and
Yeah.
I didn't know he was going to pull out a Strandberg guitar. But it's great. It sounded incredible in the Albert Hall, and yeah, I'm a big fan of Devin, and like especially the Ziltoid albums. They're incredible, crazy stuff. But yeah, that must have been cool hanging out with Devin
Yeah.
backstage.
Oh,
I
for
did
sure.
the final assembly on that guitar.
Nice.
You did indeed. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Rich saying, oh, it must have been cool hanging out backstage with Devin.
Mm.
You were just doing that for like.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, he's such a chilled, down to earth guy. On the stage, he has this crazy persona of being like this kind of madman. With like, he's very charismatic on stage, but off stage, he's just very chill, down to earth. You wouldn't know it's the same person. Yeah, one of the nicest and most inspiring guys to hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another pinch me moment was when I was going back and forth with him to what tuning he wanted on his guitar. You know, I just did a little playing and stuff, you know, just make sure that it was right for him, because he has very weird specs for how he likes his guitars. And I just did some playing. He goes, "Hey man, great playing, by the way." I went, "Oh yeah."
That's cool.
Nice one. Yeah. So, Rich, change the topic. Ask Hock something.
Okay. So Hock, when or how did your journey with music start, and was it on guitar?
It was actually the organ. That was my first instrument. Played the organ, but it was the Japanese electone. I'm not sure if you guys know that. So it was left, right, and then foot on the pedals as well. So that was my parents got me into that, and I was not too into that until I picked up the guitar around like a couple years later, and that's when it all started. And yeah, I guess my journey started with that and lots of Metallica. I could play like, I don't know, 40 Metallica songs back then, because that's all I would listen to and that's all I would play. So that was the start, and then from there on I found Scar Symmetry, yeah. I love that band. What else? Children of Bodom, In Flames. Basically all the Scandinavian metal bands, and that was like my thing for the longest time.
That's cool.
But that was in conjunction with learning the guitar, or did you listen to any of that music when you were still playing the organ?
The organ was always a part of my journey. My dad was like, you can play whatever you want, but the organ's gotta be there. You gotta finish it. So that was the Asian parent thing, you know? So I did that, but on top of that, I was doing lots of guitar, learning songs that I really enjoyed listening to.
Cool. Did you find that playing the organ helped with the guitar, and did you try and like transfer some of that knowledge that you had from the organ onto the guitar?
I guess at that time, not really, but when I went to music school, I found that knowing the organ has helped me tremendously in knowing what to do and everything. And I find myself like thinking of the keyboard rather than the guitar whenever I'm thinking of notes. That was a thing.
Yeah, similar. So, yeah, because I started on piano as well. My mum was a piano teacher. And yeah, when I moved on to the guitar, I taught myself really guitar. So I didn't really know what I was doing. But having that knowledge from the piano really helped. And now when it comes to writing, it's definitely a massive factor in the whole writing process, for me at least.
Oh yeah, same here. I've been using the piano more than I have been with the guitar for writing, actually. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, time is flying by when you're having fun. I'm having fun, at least. So, Hock, take a stab at asking Per something.
Okay. Per, do you ever write down your music, or is it all like demoed out into a DAW?
I never notate or tab stuff out. So only way it's written down is like actually in the DAW when it's programmed MIDI.
Ah,
yeah.
And then
I mean,
sorry, go.
I get requests, for tabs. People write to me and they wanna, if they're trying to learn a solo or something, they want to know how it's played. But there's just no reason for me to have anything written down.
Yeah. So do you have a graveyard in every single session file of like riffs in the back of it?
Not really. Sometimes, like what I was talking about earlier, that you try to find that initial spark for a song. There's been a few times when I've come up with a riff that hasn't been, the best, or an idea that kind of sucked, but I used it because nothing else came up, so I used that idea and built from that. And eventually, when better ideas started emerging, building on top of that first crappy idea, and then once things got rolling, I just moved that first idea to the graveyard. So there might be a small graveyard of crappy riffs.
Yeah, I have a similar situation, but it's all in Guitar Pro. So like my Guitar Pro file, like at the back of it, that's just like tons and tons of riffs.
When I write for an album, I rarely, write extra stuff. I write the songs that I need, and that's it. And if I have an idea, I either I just toss it and I don't even demo it, or I turn it into a song.
Yeah.
So there's like no extra stuff, in the archives.
That's super interesting that you say that, because most bands, you get this image of them when in interviews and stuff, they say like, oh, for this album with 8 tracks or 10 tracks, whatever, we wrote 30 songs. And then we picked the best 10. And I every time I hear that, I'm like, that's not how it works. I don't know. Like, but, maybe for some people it is, but it's good hearing it from someone who actually, produces albums and
I'm sure it's like that, like in the pop world, when you have a pop artist and that has like songwriters writing for him or her, and like they have like 40 or 50 or 100 songs submitted, but that's a totally different thing. I don't know, is anyone else writing a lot of music and picking stuff out? Anyone?
Yeah, I had mentioned earlier that I have these, I call them idea chests, and they range from 2, I think there's like 25 or some odd. But at the back end of them, I have riffs that I've either thrown out or have changed, and I was revisiting them, oddly enough, for a Strandberg video that I'm going to be doing very, very soon, and just kind of revisiting them because I'd write these ideas and they weren't exactly fitting where I wanted to go with the record, but I was still doing my 9 to 5 and just coming up with riffs and elaborating on them. And literally yesterday, I was just going through and just trying to see, what good ideas were there. The funny thing is there weren't any good ideas there, but they were a start nonetheless. But at the back end, I still have a lot of stuff back there and going on with that. There's enough material there to do another record, albeit not very good.
Well, Per, ask Allan an actual question.
An actual question?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Bring
I
up
know,
the topic.
a question that we haven't asked each other in person.
I just wonder, when are we all gonna get together, have a big old barbecue, have a big ice chest full of beer, and bring all of our Strandberg guitars, and just have a big old jam.
I know.
No one knows. No one knows.
No one knows. I was hoping for next NAMM, but the way things are, I doubt that I'll even go. Even if they say that everything's all clear and everything's good, NAMM is like the worst place to hang out. Like even when there's not a risk of a pandemic.
There's a pandemic.
There's going to be so many lingering restrictions that I mean, I don't know if there's.
NAMM is a pandemic.
Yeah.
Some of my fondest memories, Per, and a lot of you guys that are tuned in right now will get a laugh out of this. Per and I shared a hotel room in Frankfurt, and we decided to go out for some pizza. Was it pizza or was it or kebab? I don't know. Either way, we wanted to go out one night, and it was like 1:00 in the morning in Germany time, and we're walking the streets of Frankfurt, Germany, and we're singing Toto's Africa at the top of our lungs in some random park. And those are some of the times that I miss and look forward to again. And can't wait for the next barbecue, next big Strandberg hangout.
Yeah. I mean, I was hoping to, in conjunction with the Uppsala Guitar Festival in October, to sort of round off the 10th anniversary of Strandberg with a huge Strandberg party. And I guess we'll just have to see where everything ends up in terms of travel restrictions, etc. I do know that, I mean, it's going to be different than it has been before that show, but I definitely hope that we'll have an opportunity, all of us, to hang out soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
But yeah, life will never be the same, I think, or not in a long time.
Yeah, these are strange times we're living in. You go out, you got to wear a mask and gloves to do some things, and it's like feeling more normal every time I do it, which is just strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of the new things we do that we will miss, or that we will continue once this is over, because things like this is cool anyway, and I don't know if we'd ever come up with it if we didn't have to. So are things like this going to continue?
Some things definitely will be carried over for years, I think.
Yeah.
Like people hugging each other when they meet. I think it's going to be a long time before that's truly comfortable.
Yeah.
And just people working from home in general. I keep seeing articles all the time, 54% of Americans want the option to work from home. Well, of course, I mean, we're all everybody has that lazy nature sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can work from home, I can see the potential for a lot of businesses to let go of their offices and not have premises at all because they don't need it.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Can just
it's about is that more productive or less? I think, it depends, because obviously you have more time throughout the day. You're not traveling, but at home it's easy to get distracted.
You need a very good and consistent work ethic to pull off working from home. And I think most musicians kind of know that, even if they don't always have it. Yeah.
True.
Well, our official time slot is out, but I'm going to give the word to Allan to ask Dave something. And then I think everyone has
Dave?
something.
All right. Yeah, I got a good question here. Excuse me. Do you, like myself, just pick up a Strandberg guitar unplugged just to hear how it sounds and how it resonates, and does it inspire you?
I love this question because I've been doing it sometimes during this conversation while I've been muted. I find that for me, the natural the natural resonance of an instrument is one of the most inspiring things. So when I got my original 7, it was kind of the same response, where I got it from the post office, and I just opened it up in the back of my car and just sat there and started playing. And I was just kind of blown away because of the kind of piano-like qualities that it has. And that's continually kind of one of the things I reach for. I'll swap pickups in and out just to kind of experiment with tones and flavors, but just the natural like sound of the instrument itself with nothing is amazing, and part of the reason I keep reaching for it.
Yeah, because the pickups can only pick up what's there from to start with. So it doesn't matter if you say it's like the pickups that bring out that they're responsible for the sound in the instrument. It's only the vibrations of the strings that will actually be picked up by the pickup.
Absolutely.
Gustavo raised the hand, it says here.
Yeah. Before we end this, let's make sure we take a screenshot holding our beloved instruments.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion.
Oh no!
Who has them
I don't
within
have
reach?
any
We all have one.
That's awesome.
Right? I think I've got one.
Wait, I'm mirrored, aren't I?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna bear with me a sec. I'm gonna
Halfway out.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll go grab one.
You're gonna promote the band. Oh, necklace.
Our check, you only need the last 5 frets.
Oh, here we go. Archeco.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
the plug.
I have the same
plug
as
is so
Per.
good.
Woohoo!
This is
Who's taking the photo?
wild.
Gustavo, those gold
We'll have to
pickups,
screen grab the live stream
Excuse the.
if Allan could get his act together.
I can do ready cheese.
Oh, there's Allan with the guitar.
What chord shall I hold?
Perfect.
I took many.
Ah, awesome.
Cool. Good idea.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, that was great. Hey, I had an absolute blast hanging out with all of you. I hope you did likewise. We've had a steady good number of viewers online. I think they've showed their appreciation with tons of love and thumbs up during the stream. So thanks a million, guys. And thanks a million to everyone that's watched. And so tomorrow, 8 a.m. European time, so work your math to whatever time zone you're in, is another live stream with Pliny, Alex Makacek, Paul Masvidal, Mike Keneally, let's see, Jack Gardner, I mentioned Pliny, right? Connor Kaminsky, Brock Menzel, Beck Callender of Racket, and Ben Kenny from Incubus is going to join. So I think we should have fun tomorrow as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks again, guys. Hope to see you all
so
in
much.
person
Good
soon
fun.
enough. Stay healthy and safe.
Yeah.
You as well. Thanks for having us. Good speaking to all you
thanks
guys.
for having us.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks
Take
a
it
lot.
easy, guys.
My pleasure.
Goodbye very much.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Stay safe.
Very much.